Good morning, everybody. Hey, I hope everybody's doing well. Here we are again on our own. Never mind, I'm not going to start just with the lyrics. All right, so today we're doing Arya. Let's see here. Oh, let's add a layer. So I was trying to find a direct link for my Instagram channel for the description below here. And I couldn't find a direct link to it. I did find that I have a Goodreads page as an author, so go me. But that doesn't help with the Instagram link. I did put my handle down there, so if y'all are on Instagram, you can join me over there. There we go. So anyways, how's everybody doing this morning? I'm not going to see your messages because this app doesn't show them to me. No, I've been trying to find an app that works. I'm thinking the reason why I'm stuck with this program right now is that there's an issue with YouTube, and it actually knows these things and makes sure. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing a lot of art today, so I got to write. Do follow me on Instagram. Notice I posted the latest page. I finished late last night. I don't think I tweeted it out yet. I'll have to double check that. But anyways, the big deal about that is I'm kind of out of script for the story. And I got to get back in there and start working. So yeah, what I did for this particular story is it's in 3 parts, and I kind of got stuck, and I still am. I know what I need to cover for the second part, but I don't know, I'm not visualizing it like I am the third part. So I'm just going to skip ahead, write the third part of the story, and then come back in and do the second part. Fortunately, each part is kind of on its, stands on its own. So part one, our main character meets Berta Cáceres. Part two, I think hard enough there. Part two, it kind of reveals that he works for her security, and kind of cover a few issues of like how Honduras changed after the coup. That's the toughest part because like there's a lot of exposition in this one. A little bit of action in that part. And part three is about the assassination of Berta Cáceres. I hope I'm trying to get that hard R right in my tongue. Um, 'Cause my ears thinks it sounds like verticasides. But no habla español. Um, uh, El taco es grande. Gato es poco. Chimichanga. There we go. No, I don't speak Spanish. I know enough words and stuff where I can pick up like what people are saying if they're speaking slow enough. Like Mexico has a much slower cadence to their speech, so I tend to follow people. I can actually like understand. Uh, I mean, obviously it depends on where they are from Mexico, but when they're speaking Spanish, I understand more than say Puerto Rico, who tends to speak really fast. I mean, I love my Puerto Rican friends, but I don't understand what they're saying in Spanish. So yeah, suppose I gotta draw Bran after this, and I should probably draw Tyrion because he's overall one of my favorite characters. I mean, it helps that Peter Dinklage is a hell of a good actor. That looks weird. Anyways, get some more tea in me. Get in my belly. So I am still mad at Nate Silver for his comments about Arya Stark on Twitter. I mean, there's plenty to be mad about Nate Silver about, but like that was kind of unforgivable. Because he just tweeted that her killing the Night King was unearned. And dude, did you not watch the show? They literally spent seasons and seasons developing Arya into a weapon. Like I got my issues with the pacings of the last couple of seasons, but they spent their time showing that Arya is more than a capable fighter. And yeah, saying that it's unearned is like, dude, Really? Oh, cool, man. I mean, Nate Silver's an interesting guy because he took his baseball prediction things and was able to like turn it into the presidential stuff and predicted Obama's victory and used that to kind of leverage himself into a much more famous person. So yeah, I have another thing I got to do today. Figure out how to edit a Goodreads page. I get my bio in there or something. So for those of you who listen to me talk about, just some vague ideas of what I would do if I wrote a Savage Dragon story. Last night I was watching I had the Surfs on. Um, Good stuff, by the way, if y'all don't know the Surfs. While I was working, and they did a big thing on like the Thin Blue Line, and they played a video from this dude named Hassan. I don't know his last name. He's not nobody I actually know who he is. Apparently, he's like a Netflix show I never heard of before. Um, I don't know why he's got one. I see some kind of comedian. I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, but it was just making me think more about what I'd do if I wrote Savage Dragon. I mean, the big thing about the character is that what am I missing? Oh, Yeah, no, the big thing about the character, the fact that he is a cop and, my personal politics, would have to, basically be around the fact that, the police are, the police get away with murder, they get away with framing suspects. I mean, hell, Chicago has a rendition site for prisoners. I mean, that's ridiculous. And have the mayor be involved with the whole thing, and have it be an allegory of Rahm Emanuel. I think that'd be kind of cool. I don't know if you guys are listening and you think that these are some good ideas. I should pitch Erica Larson. Let me know. More tea. Ah. All right. So there is a website called, I was trying to spending a lot of time looking for my, direct link to my Instagram page. Um, I'm sure I'll figure it out once I'm done. I kind of had to stop because I kept falling down these holes. Um, like somebody saved one of my tweets and put it on a meme dot or me.me page. I'm like, what? What's this about? Which is super cool. Nice to know that my tweets are out there in the wild somewhere. Sometimes, Google searching your name, you get some really interesting results. Still didn't find what I was looking for, though. last night I watched the what was it? The Death Wish remake, which was horrible. I think the only good part was the really dumb line about "I'm not going to kill you, Jack is." Who's Jack? And then he uses a car jack to kill the guy. Really stupid. I mean, Death Wish, the original one, was always a kind of right wing meme for gun culture. Presented as a morality tale. I mean, the first one's actually kind of complicated, but also a little, partly a power fantasy too, making it a very, dense film to actually dive into and discuss. Because the fact that they actually did a pretty good job trying to show how this character who is a liberal and going to you know becoming this gun-toting vigilante. I think I've only seen the first three. The first one has Jeff Goldblum in it as a punk. The second one had what's his name? Morpheus. Lawrence Fishburne as one of the bad guys. And the third one had Bill S. Preston Esquire himself. What was it Alex something? Alex Winter. Bill S. Preston Esquire. Yeah. It's coming out good. Now with this one, we're going to just do the inks. We're not going to do the brown paper stuff because there was a lot of details I put in here. Man, did I take a lot of time with this one. Tomorrow is Wednesday. That means there's going to be a new episode of Wu-Tang. Like I said, I like the first three so far. It's a good start, and I do hope that the show continues. I read a review on Salon, and they were not. They didn't quite care for the show. Go with Salon. one of those things. And they did have some very valid points of why they didn't quite like the show. However, I think a lot of that is also well, some of the problems. I will completely kind of co-sign the fact that uh, Old Dirty Bastard's a bit of a cartoonish character in this, as opposed to a three-dimensional character. Um, I'm I just hope that they give a chance to actually deal with the fact that ODB was undiagnosed schizophrenic for most of his life, and he medicated himself with hard drugs, which is why he died at such a young age. I hope they have a chance to actually delve into a little bit of that, because that would actually make his arc be a lot more compelling. I get their point, and I kind of agree with it, because ODB really, but also, like, come on, Big Baby Jesus was always a cartoon character. I mean, the sheer fact that he changed his name to Big Baby Jesus, that should tell you something about the cat. They also kind of compared it unfavorably to The Wire, and I'm just like, I get that, but like, that's just the story of being poor and black in America at that time, in New York City. It was a very specific moment. Where The Wire kind of dug into some of that. I mean, it was borrowing from stuff like, the story of the Wu Tang. It's borrowing from various rappers, and also real life stuff. I mean, it was a mix of things. So I mean, of course, they're going to compare it to the Wire. So, anyways, bit of my hot take on the Salon article I read. Not really a hot take, but just some thoughts. Because, like, the dude who created The Wire gets it. He understands that, oh, man, it's so much to draw. At least it's all organic stuff. I like doing organics, fur and folds of clothing and stuff like that, as opposed to, like, vehicles and guns. Oh well. Well, the one thing that the Wire got is that the drug trade, the gangs, all that stuff. That's all a result of capitalism. So there you have it. Some more tea in me. Um, I should make a mental note. I don't know. I have like a half thought here, half thought there. My apologies for being quiet. As you can see, I'm just banging this thing out, y'all. Based on this, I would not want to do a Game of Thrones comic with this, but I wanted to do the detail because I just love the costume designers put into this. I mean, it's just absolutely wonderful the way the leathers come in and out of each other and the furs. I mean, I love these great costumes, but like you got to simplify it if you're going to do a comic of Game of Thrones. You're not necessarily going to draw the these strings here pulling it together and the little gaps that the waistcoat makes and whatnot. Not necessarily if you're going to do it panel after panel after panel. One of the things about being a cartoonist is just figuring out that what you're simplifying and trying to find that magical middle ground because you got to keep working, man. You got to keep plugging away. You got to keep drawing. You got to do pages and pages and pages a month, and you can't be getting into little details like this. However, that said, you're doing a cover. You might want to take the time on some of this stuff. It depends on how close you're doing. If you're doing a big close up like this, I mean, this is the size of a comic book cover. So if this was going to be the cover of just Arya looking off in the distance, not a great cover. But Anyway, say if what if it was? Well, you got a bad editor. Uh, you're going to want to put in these details. But what you want to do for a cover is you want to have, um, Arya and what's her name? Um, Gwendolyn Christie's character, Brienne of Tarth, fighting. I mean, that would make a much better Game of Thrones comic cover, anyways. Yeah, you know what? I will switch to this. Since the stitching does not need to have different thick and thinness, since it's just supposed to be a stitch here, I'm just going to go with essentially a micron. I know a lot of comic book people like to use microns for like everything. And it's like, nah, son. It's like, no, there's no weight to that. However, when you're going to draw something where you don't want the weight to it, then absolutely use the micron. That way, too, whenever you have these nice, you know, lines that have thick to thin weight to it, it contrasts nicely against those flat lines. And I'm all about contrasting nicely here. All right. Excuse me. Uh, almost out of tea. Y'all, I'm almost out of tea. What am I going to do? I don't have tea. At least the queen's not coming over. If I'm out of tea and the queen's coming, so why would the queen come over? Not even British. I don't even think she visits her subjects. She's like, what, 1,000 years old? Let's see here. How's that coming along? Looks pretty good. A little soulless in the eyes. I'm not quite sure. I don't think I captured the wonder of the image. I think this is supposed to be the first time she sees the dragons. I could be wrong. Right. That was Shadow, wasn't it? Hey, that does not look too bad. I do say so myself. This should be that Valyrian steel dagger. So I gotta say, like, one thing that people didn't really talk about with Game of Thrones is how it was a bit of a water cooler show. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that people actually sat around and talked about it, like at work. It was a kind of a universal touchstone thing that people were actually aware of, and we don't have a lot of those kind of things in pop culture these days. And I don't see any other kind of show that's going to quite, give us the cross cultural Game of Thrones kind of thing. I mean, you could probably argue that the Marvel movies might do that. And it might even. However, I also suspect that the falling through. I also want to see Disney broken apart and Marvel Studios and Marvel, basically the Marvel thing, gets spun off onto its own with Star Wars, and they're actually run not by a corporate philosophy like Disney, but like the school where, yeah, the guy at top might be, some kind of, well, business person, but like understands that he's got to put somebody like Stan Lee or Joe Quesada in charge of the creative stuff. Oh, excuse me. I don't even know who's on top of Marvel right now. There we go. Let's get in there. Let's get. I love crosshatching in the morning. I was gonna get some music going. Oh well. I know Cole James Cash just dropped 2 albums, and I've heard a little bit of 2016. Um, I need to really sit down and listen to it, but just haven't really quite been in the headspace to really listen. So like I've lightly listened a little, and it's not a bad little album. The parts that I've heard, definitely worth checking out. I would like to hear more. Uh, Now I don't know if his new stuff is on Spotify yet, but doesn't have it online. You know what? I'm gonna tweet out when I'm done a link to where you can listen. I know I just posted it on my personal Facebook page, and I'll probably throw it up in the Surf's Discord as well. Because homies love them in there. I don't know off the top of my head what his other album's called, but 2016 is one of them. He does hip hop, but what's interesting is he does this sound collage kind of thing. So like it's got these like real slick beats and whatnot, but like he then puts in like this background of sound collage behind it, instead of like somebody rapping on top of it. So it almost it kind of tells a unique story. So it's very different than what you're used to with hip hop. I kind of dug it. It's a little bit more sophisticated. One of my things that I like for sounds of hip hop is when you actually legit mix the stuff. An example I always use is like uh, that Aerosmith song. Was it Janie's Crying? And Funky Cold Redeemer by Tone Loc. Like you can't when somebody points it out to you, you can be like, "Oh yeah, I hear it now." But like when you're just listening, you're not just going to hear the samples. I mean, do you know how many years it took me to realize that how much of OPP was sampled from ABC by the Jackson Five, and you could hear parts of it, but like you really listen to it, you'd just be like, man, almost the entire thing is Jackson Five. So like I like those sophisticated beats. Not where it's all hook and no melody or anything like that. Where there's a certain amount of songcraft with the DJ, and Cole does that, man. He built out real interesting songs, but it's still pure hip hop. Absolutely, you, even if you're not into rap, And I'm going to admit, I am not the biggest hip hop fan in the world. There's a lot that just does not do anything for me. That's okay. I'm not going to be mad if you like it. I mean, unless we're talking Ace of Base, I ain't going to be mad about what you listen to. Yeah, to throw some of that Ace of Base shade in there, y'all. Ace of Base is literally why I stopped listening to pop music. And then, one of them's a white supremacist. I don't know if they all are. But they certainly are singing his lyrics, and that's not cool. Of course, I didn't know that when I started hating on Ace of Base. Alright, we just got this one arm to do, y'all. Yeah, I wanted to take my time with this one because I knew I got a lot of writing to do, so I don't know how much actual art I'm going to get to. So I wanted to do something a little more robust. This has been sitting on my docket for a little while. So, which, I mean, he knows where it's at. He had dropped a solo album called Bobby Digital, and he was smart enough to get Bill Sienkiewicz to do the album art. Ooh. Oh, there it is. All right, let me. Looks like I probably should be bouncing real soon, but let's get this done. So close. I did not unplug the phone next to me before I started, so my apologies for the phone keep ringing. All right, let's get this. this down here. Any more thoughts? Nate Silver's trash for trashing Arya. Also, he's, big DC insider, and let's be kind of honest here. He does get some stuff right. He tries to, he's not somebody we should cancel yet. Although you can cancel him over that. What he said about Arya. Like, okay. You know what? Let's get this filled in. Get this here. You know what? I think go to black. Well, that looks much better. It's kind of built. That's what I'm missing. Okay. All right. Hey, dear, so that looks pretty good. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me get this thing signed here. But yeah, no, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the nice, kind words I hear about my stuff. I greatly appreciate it. Don't always get to thank thank you as much as it really does mean to me. It means a lot to me. Hopefully y'all are seeing this. I apologize for the video with the lines on the side. I really do wish there was. I'm working on it. I am trying to figure out how to contact YouTube's tech support because I think I know how to fix the problem, but like if there's another issue, I don't want to go through the process of how I think it's to solve the problem. But we'll get to that. But yes, thank you for watching. For those in the chat room, I apologize. This app is not letting me see your remarks. I can bounce from there and actually see if there's anybody there. But man, this is taking a little longer than I wanted. I need to get back into things. But since it's been cutting off the endings, I might as well go a little long with the ending. So, there we go. There are some people here. Oh, apparently it's super choppy. My bad. All right, people. Well, thank you for watching, and get out there and make some art.